Welcome back to the VOR Leg 7 Day 22, 9 hours on the master stereo on the bow of the boat here, looking out as the sun is trying to peek over the horizon. It's been slow going for most of the day, but we'll get into that in just a moment. First of all, a little bit of housekeeping. I want to apologize to Rory and on McLaren. He's just back here, chasing us pretty hard. It's caught up to us probably around about 50 or 60 nautical miles over the course of the last couple of days, but then most of the field have. But really what my apology is about is that I believe that I intimated that his boat had jumped and that he had been stuck on part of Chile for a while. This was nothing more than a case of mistaken identity on my part, and I really should have double checked before I said anything. Anyway, all the best to him, and no hard feelings, I hope. So let's have a look at the leaderboard here and see what's going on. Well, obviously it hasn't changed very much, except for Gargantua has caught Yakka and Full Moon by around about 100 nautical miles. We, on the other hand, we had been 110 nautical miles behind him. That has blown out, which just shows you how being in the right place, the right time, with the right winds does create, these pushes and pulls forward. And it looks very, very doubtful now that any of us guys from 5 down will catch any of these guys first, second, third, or fourth. But second, third, and fourth is looking to be an incredibly close finish. And good luck to all of them. Okay, let's just have a quick look at the wind map now. Going back quite a few hours to this morning, and we came through some pretty awful blue blob. We were around about here, and slowed us down considerably. The guys behind us had been catching us then, but they didn't get the worst of it. They would have kept, I would imagine, 8, 9, 10 knots, whereas we went down to about 2 for quite a few hours today. And pretty interesting in terms of what's going to happen in the next couple of hours, couple of days. So we're going to be in light winds until we get over closer to the coast, Montevideo, and then head up. Tommy's out to the east there. We have Vitali out here who's made a screeching turn back into the middle. Tangent is still going out wide. We have Dingo here, who is taking a chance by going to the coast, but he must see something that I don't, or haven't looked at yet. I would imagine that he wants to cruise up the coast and hopefully get some good onshore winds. We have El Patron here, obviously, and this bunch chasing us with Rory in the lead here on McLaren. Very close behind him is Peppers. They'll be able to see each other at some point, hopefully. We have 40 degrees South Ocean Racing, Connecticom, Hijack. So there's a bunch of boats in the middle here, and this is going to be very, very tight, one would imagine. Up in front, these 3 guys here. Well, obviously Gargantua, if I could go back a couple of days or 24 or 48 hours, he was only 100 miles or 120 miles in front of us. Now he's 215. He got lucky, he was in the right place at the right time. And that sped him up here. Good sailing on his part. Yakka and Full Moon had slightly less wind. They haven't really been able to chase our leader down here. And it looks like, although he has fairly on the nose sort of wind to his end point, if he goes wide enough and then comes back in, I shouldn't see any problem there. I would imagine that these 4 Well, that will be number one. This will be this will not change. Hopefully we can beat Tommy, but it's always a hard comp with him. He chases us, we chase him all across the world, it seems. And as for this bunch here, including Dingo on the side, wow, that's going to be incredibly close in a couple of days. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is switch over to qtvlm. Okay, so as promised, look at qtvlm, looking at different boats around the place. We have Dingo over here on the far left. Then we have El Patron. We have Rory here. Master Steer in the red. In the green is Tommy. Here is Vitali in the orange. In the purple we have Tangent. Up here we have Full Moon, Yucca, and Gargantua, and obviously our race leader up there as well. So let's just go forward in time. We'll do 2-hour lots, and I will just manually watch this. So day is over pretty quick, and we notice that already Rory has caught up to us guys quite substantially there, which means that that bunch in the middle here is going to get a fairly good push on. Vitali's a little bit behind, and Tangent is off to the side. Up here there's nothing in it. They've all had to go out to the east or northeast, and then they'll tack back. So let's continue on a little bit further. But what's going to be interesting soon, I think, is what happens to Dingo as he gets a bit of a push on. Let's zoom in a little bit here, see what's going on. There's quite a mess, this map. And we have Gargantua still behind. Oh, Full Moon and Jacka there. Master Styria, Tommy. And Rory still coming up behind. Hopefully we can, we're still doing okay. But look at this. Look at what's happened to Dingo. Well played, sir. You've gone far out to the west, but you've come along that coast, zipped along that coast. And that will be interesting if that is actually true. So, continuing on, and we find ourselves in a little bit of a doldrum there, coming back through, and everybody hits the point pretty much at the same time. Wow, that's going to be really close. So let's have a look at the route comparator. We'll add everybody. We'll give an ETA on this. So it looks like the race as it is pretty close. This is incredibly close. Actually, all three of us are incredibly close. That could be anybody's game there. So he would have caught up. Wow. Quite a lot, quite substantially to do that. Vitali and El Patron very, very similar. Tangent a little bit behind, and Dingo still there, but wow, what a catch up that would be. So that is the situation as it stands. Let's have a look at the distance sailed. So Tommy, Rory and ourselves pretty close. I always like looking at the other things, but I won't go through them now. The orthographic distance. Average speed 10 knots for Dingo. Wow, that's pretty good. So back on board as I As we have a look one more last time at the sun, look back on the boat. Obviously, out there is Argentina. Out there is Africa, and the sun is in front of us. Well, out there is Africa. Okay, guys, have a great day, and it should all be over in, what do I say? Well, for some of us, over in 3 days. For some of us, over in almost 5 days. So, with that said, I'll come back one more time at the end to say, just to see how things are going. Bye-bye.